today on Damage Check, ARG past and future, spoilers of course, and your questions. Stick around. Damage Check, your source for everything Vanguard related, bringing you the news, spoilers, everything the like. Today's just a two-man Damage Check, so I am joined with, of course, our champion, our reigning god himself, the Doombringer, the Allbringers, the Great Bringer.
Am I not man enough for all of us?
You are man enough for all of
us.
Thank you. The man himself, Ryan Griffin.
Hello.
How's it feel? How's it feel to top 8 in a national setting?
It's pretty good.
Bet it does. So first of all, congratulations. Lift up your mat, my friend.
Oh yes.
But
nice and top.
We'll talk more about this and all of our stories here.
Thanks, Kelly.
In another video. But we just want to give our love to our boy who did so well with the Harris Teeter card, bro.
Harris Teeter.
My Harris Teeter. Every time I get a chance, I'm gonna say it. So, moving on from that, we're back from Philadelphia. Still tired. Still pretty exhausted.
Really? Mm-hmm.
Still haven't fully recovered from that weekend overall. The 20 hours I drove total.
Yeah, for real. 3 days, 20 hours.
20 hours of driving in my car, which actually didn't break down or anything. Yeah, watch our other roads. They were fun. We didn't do as many. We never do as many as we did that first time we did on the road because we did like.
We just like hammered them out because people were like.
Also, we had Nate to like always constantly watch when he was driving with us. Anyways.
Yeah, we had Nate. It was fun.
So, but now we're back, ready to do Damage Check. It's been a couple weeks since we've done it, and it'll probably be a few weeks before you get another one, just because Nate will be moving back. So it's going to be a weird transition when Nate comes back, just to get all of us back in the swing.
But plenty of content.
Yeah, of course. We got filming stuff and things of that nature. We finally figured out how the heck Gear Chronicle works, so we can play it pretty consistently now.
Let's jump right into
and I got some good... well, I'll say that for the recap video. So, spoilers are first and foremost on the Damage Check, and we have... So, first things first, I'm going to start from the spoiler that I have from July 25th and then move forward from there. There are probably a lot of spoilers I did not go through, so we're not going to go through them. Most of them were commons. If there was a big one that I missed, I apologize that you didn't get our opinion on it, but leave a question down here in the comments and maybe we'll answer it in the next Damage Check.
And if there is a major spoiler that we miss, I'm going to try and do a more in-depth analysis of it on our Facebook page, so be sure to check that out.
Ba-boom. So,
more Facebook page content coming at you.
So the first one we're going to go with is Grand Witch Doctor of the Night Banquet, Negrelily. Yeah.
That's a lot to say ghosty things.
It's obviously not a common, it is a double R.
Yes.
I don't know why this is common.
Yeah, I know.
G Guardian, counterblast 1, choose one of your rear guards and retire it. When this unit is placed on Guardian Circle, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose up to one normal unit with Ghosty in its card name from the drop zone and call it to open rear guard. And this unit gets plus 10k till the end of battle. The good thing is that the Ghosty stays if you want it to stay.
Yeah.
Or it can go if you hollow it. If any Ghosties have
you can do dumb things with it.
Exactly. I mean...
Assuming you're on Night Rose. That kind of matters.
I think it's really good. I'm a fan.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to retire something, which means you get to put something in the drop zone. So it's kind of like a 1-for-1 in that sense, where it's like you're not straight plussing, but this dude's going to get power, and you can get a Ghosty, which is nice. And then once it goes back to your turn, you can just set and call back whatever you lost.
And they don't throw and screw you.
Exactly. So life's good. And plus, more excuses to not run Screw You are better, because Screw You is kind of a hard, like you have to ditch a card and you lose a card from your hand.
And you know,
ways to get around that.
Hopefully it's a 5k card you're dropping, or it's just the same thing, right?
Cards are just better that way. This is a promo, so we're not going to go through it, because we might not get it. Next, Desiring Succubus. This is a dark regular card, as you can imagine.
No way, I don't believe you.
Continuous Rearguard, GB1 Darkness. If you have 6 or more cards in your soul, this unit gains boost. It's a grade 2 8k. And then Rearguard, put this unit in your soul. When another unit attacks, you may pay the cost. If you do choose one of your units, at the end of the turn, he gets plus power plus 2k. I like this card.
I also like this card. I like the fact that you can boost with a grade 2. The only problem is it's an 8k. So you'll have to see if you have room for it. Yeah, because like if this guy has to be in the front row, that kind of sucks if you don't have anything. But at the end of the day, if you don't have anything, I guess you could like put in the soul, which activates your other darkness stuff and give something else 2k.
So this is a Darkness Enabler, which is good. To me, it's a lot better than the Brave Enabler. This is a Darkness Enabler because it goes in the soul, which is what you need for Darkness.
Right.
And it itself has a good Darkness skill. So on both fronts, I'm a fan.
That's not bad.
Next, the big GR right now. Let's go ahead and get him out of the way. One Steeped in Sin, Charlotte.
Yay. So edgy.
It's a Stride, it's a GR, super edge. Did not know I had a Charlotte just sitting in my binder, apparently. just waiting for Ryan to find it. Stride, Generation Break 2, Darkness, Counterblast 1. When this unit attacks, you may pay the cost. If you do, put all your rear guards into your soul, and this unit gets plus 10k until the end of the battle. If you have 10 or more cards in your soul, retire all your opponent's rear guards, and if you have 15 more in soul until the end of that battle, your opponent cannot call guards with the Sentinel ability from hand to Guardian Circle. I like this card.
Yeah, he's pretty alright.
He's
board wipe.
He's a Black Rose for Yu-Gi-Oh fans. Because you have to sack most of your board anyways too. So he's a Black Rose, which is fine.
Board wipe with guard restrict, and he's general, and out of persona flip. Seems good.
The only problem I have with this card is that he's auto, which means you're gonna need to swing with rear guard, and then Vanguard.
Oh, boo.
To get anything really out of it.
Wait, no, isn't he an ad?
No, he's an auto.
Oh, okay.
So it's gonna be rear guard, Vanguard.
I'm thinking of a different card.
And that just means time to run 12 crits and go in.
Well, why not?
And
if he's your main thing,
and you can't use Sentinels, so he's like G guard or death, really. Especially if this guy's swinging 36.
But trust me, they always have the G guard. It's like, I'll turn this into value real quick.
Luckily, it's like one G guard's not enough because.
Yeah, that's true.
20k shield G guard balloon gets you 31, and even the 20.
They always have the double 25, G guard.
They have the double G guard. I'll take the loss. You were just destined to win this game.
Good job.
Next, Magical Box Trimmer. This is a Pale Moon, as you can imagine. Counterblast 1 at the end of your opponent's turn. If 3 or more cards have been put into the damage zone during this turn, you may pay the cost. If you do, Soul Charge 1. Choose up to 5 cards in your soul and call them to separate rear guards. This is an interesting cards.
Highly, highly conditional.
It's also an 8K.
Does it say the damage zone?
Into your damage zone. So you had to have taken 3 damage.
Like, the Pale Moon counter! Ooh! Sideboard?
So at the end of your opponent's turn, I kind of like it.
It's fun if you're dead.
The only problem also that I have with this card, I guess, now that I think about it, actually, no, this card's poop. It's a Vanguard skill.
Yeah, also
this card's poop. Next! Vanguard poop. Okay, so next, let's go to... Okay, this is a monthly Bushiroad promo, but I will go through because we typically get the monthly Bushiroad promos. Battle Maiden Medusa. Soul Blast 3. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, it's a grade 2 9K. You may pay the cost. If you do, choose up to 2 cards from your opponent's hand with random. I think you meant at random. Bind them face down. At the end of the turn, your opponent puts the cards bound with this effect to his or her hand. I didn't know that Genesis could switch momentum into Nubatama so quickly.
For real. I mean, thing is, Genesis had a little bit of everything at the beginning, but then they made Token Rambo and actually gave it everything.
So. Token Rambo literally does everything. Except it doesn't have make your opponent discard from hand. That's for set 2. Along with their G restrict.
It's coming.
They're gonna get their evolution stride if they're like their Sword Boy the best sword, and it's gonna be like for every face up, guard restrict. It's one grade they can't guard.
Oh my god. Select the grades they can't guard with. If you have 3, you just can't guard. The unblockable Sword Boy.
4. You can't guard with 4s either. Like 1 and 4. You lose.
0s, 1s, and 4s. Yeah, that's it.
You lose. So
intercept. Oh.
I like this card, but I don't know if we'll see play. I think there are other grade 2s you can run. Better grade 2s. Actually, there are better grade 2s you can run. Stop making me on. There are better grade 2s. You're making me on. There are better grade 2s you can run in, like we're gonna talk about later. So next, we're gonna talk about that one.
Arboros.
Actually, we are gonna talk about that in a second, but in a second. So, Salad Familiar. Forerunner. All your other rear guards in the same column as this get continuous rear guard resist. And in the middle column, Generation Break 1, counterboss 1, put this card in the soul, draw a card. I like this card.
Highly versatile.
I like the versatility. Now, will it see use in Pale Moon? I mean, in Neo Nectar? I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably not. But what I respect is that Wishward gave us a starter
that actually...
with some general versatility, which gives you... It's not like Rune Bolt, which only works when it's behind a rear guard column. And it's not like every other starter, which you usually just slide it back and call it a day.
Yeah, or it's like, this doesn't matter, and I'll put it wherever I want.
This is good, and I like it. Do you agree?
I do.
Alright. I just don't think it's going to see play, but
I have no idea.
I respect its existence. Next. Start it now, pretty good.
Let's say, I need you to not.
Storm Calling Pirate King Gash.
Oh, this card's good.
Triple R. It's Grand Blue, as you can imagine by the pirate. Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, choose a face down with its name, Persona Flip. When this unit is placed on Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose up to 5 cards from your soul, put them into the drop zone, choose the same number of cards from the drop zone as the number of cards put into the drop zone with this effect, call them to separate rear guards, and those units get plus 1k for each face-up card in your G-zone until the end of turn. Now that is a good skill.
Oh, yeah.
That is
finally
so much good.
Finally, I've been doing this for a while, so fill the board. Waiting on that.
And this works so well with 7Cs because they break ride. They ride so much and break ride so much that this is just going to go in face. You know what I mean? I am a fan. And the plus 1k for each face-up card in the G-zone, just even more. Also, this is like the best first stride. This is like so much better than Obadiah.
Oh, wait. Of course you have 5 soul. You have Rough Seas Banshee.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm like, we're going to need all that.
This is Obadiah, the best ghosties, like bigger brother, I'm not a ghostie.
And I'm also a respectable rarity.
Phew, man, I am a fan.
I think that's pretty good.
Next.
Do that. By the way, for those of you playing the Team Absolution damage check drinking game, you're already dead.
Yeah.
Take a shot for every time we yawn and damage check. Oh no, you're so gone right now.
Only for adults who can drink.
That's true. We only advocate.
They give us a...
We do not advocate binge drinking. Don't play this game, you will die.
Thank you. Team Absolution does not advocate binge drinking.
Or underage
drinking. Yeah. Holy Mage!
Still don't advocate it.
Lavinia! Continuous Sentinel. Choose a card from your hand. Discard it. Obviously, it's PG. Unite. Choose one of your rear guards, put it at the bottom of the deck. When this unit is placed on rear guard from the deck, you may pay the cost. If you do at the end of the turn, put this card to your hand. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it better than I like the Royal Paladin one.
Same.
I like it better than most of the other ones that pop back, except for maybe... No, I like it better than most of them that pop back from hand. Except for like maybe the Nubatama one. I like the Nubatama one. I like the Nubatama one that comes back to hand better.
That's pretty neat.
But it's like super easy to do too.
Ease of use makes cards good. No.
So, I guess we have to talk about this guy before we get to talk about the other guys. So,
hold up.
And it actually makes sense to do it this way. So, Grade 2, Bold Fetter Gjol. It is a Genesis card. Grade 2, 9k. Revelation, which is now the keyword for Genesis. God dang it, man.
I don't know why I've got
Rear
so
guard.
much.
When this unit is placed on the designated circle, look at the top card of the deck. Leave it on the top or put it in your soul. If you put it in your soul, choose one of your rear guards and rest it.
This is what we get for eating 4 tacos and watching Ip Man before this.
That's not really though. I love it, man. The movie's so good. Revelation. This one's the rear guard. So when you call it to rear guard, check the top, put it in the soul, or leave it on the top. And then if you put it in the soul, you have to choose one of your rear guards and rest it. So its other skill is GB1. Counterboss 1, when this unit is placed on rear guard, if you have Vanguard with Fenrir in its card name, you may pay the cost. If you do, at the end of the turn, this unit gets power plus 4k, and auto rear guard once per turn, Soul Blast 3. When this unit attacks the Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, draw a card. That's pretty good.
I'm going to read that again. Alright.
Basically, its first skill is Revelation.
Right.
Its second skill is on attack. If you have Fenrir, If it counterblast one on attack, or when it's placed on rear guard, you counterblast one, it gets the skill and power, gets plus 4k, and the skill that when it attacks, you can soul blast 3 to draw a card. Mm-hmm. Which is solid. Especially when it has Revelation.
Yeah.
I like to draw cards.
That's pretty good. Yeah, drawing cards is good.
And the other card, Fetter of Shackles.
Can we get a yawn counter, please?
Gelja. Revelation, rear guard. When this unit is placed on the designated circle, so same thing, obviously. Act from the soul. Put this unit on the bottom of your deck. Choose one of your rested rear guards and stand it.
Oh, so they go together.
No, that's good.
Oh, hello? Wait, that's an act.
It's an act from the soul, though.
That is true.
So if you Revelation this, so the other guy, and you use Revelation, and you top deck this, you put it into the soul, rest the dude, and then you're like, okay, now put this on the bottom, stand the dude that I just rested. See what I'm saying? They do work together.
So what you did was you took one card off. You took a card off the top of your deck and put it in your drop zone. Is what I heard.
No, you took it from the top of the deck and put it at the bottom of the deck.
Yes.
You played OTT because you took from the back to the soul to the bottom.
So it's basically just it works a lot better with the other guy.
Yeah. Well, it works with any Revolution unit, really.
But that effect's not good unless you use the other guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess there's other... Genesis, do you know how many ways you can get dudes into the soul?
I mean, yes. But I think you didn't profit any by using these two cards together.
You get to stand... Oh, and it gets power plus 3k to the end of turn. So now it's power 4k, it's power 7k.
Well, I wanted something that says when it's rested, soul charge 1, or do something else.
Nah, be that guy.
When this is rested, during the main phase, Revelation. That's what I want.
Hold on. Oh, this card also soul charges you too, which also combos with the other dude.
Okay.
Because if you Revelation this guy, you put it in the soul, then put it on the bottom. Soul charge 2, choose another one of your rear guards that gets 3k, choose another one of your rear guards that gets 3k, and you get a standard dude.
You can pick 2?
Yeah. That's the second half of the skill.
No, it's just choose one of your rear guards.
No, at the beginning it says choose one of your rear guards and standard.
Did it?
And then at the end it says choose one of your rear guards and gets 3k.
Oh, solid. It's worded like weird Great Nature stuff, so it confused me.
So, I like those cards. I like Revelation. I think Revelation is a really cool thing.
When it's abused. Because we all saw just how good Magus was with Revelation, right?
Yes.
Right?
No.
Right?
No.
Thanks, Token Ranbu.
So, next G Guardian. Doting Harlequin Maya.
I'm gonna guess.
Get on that Suicide Squad. You are correct. Let's get on that Suicide.
What do I get? Another yawn!
When this unit, don't say yawn, it actually makes you yawn.
I know.
When this unit is placed on Guardian Circle area of Vanguard with the Magia ability, this unit gets plus 5k shield to the end of that battle. Choose up to one card from your soul, call it to rear guard, and at the end of the turn, put that unit with this effect into your soul. If you're a Vanguard without the Magia ability, you may soul charge 3.
I'm really glad that you can use it, that they made a general card, because it does serve the Magia's purpose, but if that build happens to not be optimal, this card isn't just trash. Yeah,
it's like they learned from the Narukami one that only works in one deck, and they were like, we might as well make one that works in 2, you know, in case you do want to do it. Also, like, the Magia deck, I think, because we know a guy who does play it, and his backup is a Beast Tamer, so clearly that's not a Magia card. So this works on both levels, you know what I mean? I respect it. I like it. I'm a fan. The only thing I don't like is the power plus 5, the shield plus 5k, but it is what it is. And technically, you could pull out another rear guard, the grade 2, intercept with it, intercept with it, and then you basically got essentially take a shield.
Yeah.
So that's your way around it, I guess. Now the big daddy that I've been actually waiting to talk about for a while. Not that one. Mythical Hellsky Beast Fenrir.
Turn up. Fenrir.
Generation Break 2. The Revelation Continuous. The ability of your rear guards change to, which is the one I want to point out. This is the first time Vanguard's ever really done something like this, where Gen just changes the ability of your rear guards of Revelation. When this unit is placed on rear guard, look at the top 2 cards from your deck. Search up to one of them and put it into the soul, and put the rest at the top of your deck in 80 order. So good. So good. Check top 2, put the trigger at the top, put the other at the bottom. Check top 2, put the trigger at the top, put the other at the soul. Like, Ooh, so tasty.
If we have plenty of those, or can somehow like slide them into the Soul Pale Moon. So if you have a way to like look at 3 cards, you can just stack the top of your deck. That's pretty neat. Well, I think Fenrir's skill lets you do something similar. Like,
so, kind of. Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 3, you may draw a card. If you do not, put up to 1 card from the top of your deck into your soul, choose one of your rear guards, and that unit gets power plus 3k until the end of turn. That skill is okay. I think this 3-to-1 is an interesting ratio that Bushiroad has put. Basically, like, I don't know how they determined it, but basically in Bushiroad's eyes, 1 counterblast is worth 3 soul charges.
3 soul blasts.
3 soul blast. 3 cards in soul is equal to 1 counterblast. Is their general like philosophy.
The thing is, you can get as much soul as you want to, but you only have 5 counterblasts.
Yeah, I just wonder how they came to the conclusion that 3. Like 3 is it. Because it used to be 2 to draw a card, but now it's 3 in this case.
Sure.
So I just thought it was interesting. And it's 1 when it's called from the deck. Just the way they maneuver costs, I think, is always interesting to me. Because like. Cool. Swordbreaker clones are like call from the deck, Soul Blast 1, draw a card, which makes sense because you have to find a special way to call from the deck, so you should be rewarded for doing that. And then the other grade 1, the chicken clones, are on call, power. Soul Blast 2, draw a card. So I like the way they weigh things sometimes. Do I like this card? Yes. I think I want to see more revelation skills for that reason. What do you think?
I absolutely agree. A skill like this could make it pretty abusable, but you also have to consider, like, how can I abuse this? Although, thinking about it, if you did multiple revelation abilities in 1 turn, it goes, if you use his skill, it goes, okay, reveal the top 2, choose 1, put in your soul, put the top 1 down. You can't mod your triggers with this, because it'll always be the same card on top and something else.
Yeah. I agree with that. But not necessarily. Because you could go...
I could go until I find 1 trigger.
No. You go Revelation, check top 2 triggers. Like, crap. 1 in Soul, 1 on the top. Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 3, draw that card. Another Revolution unit, check the next top 2. Then you get a fresh 2.
But now I have no triggers.
No. Let's say you don't get any triggers at all.
Oh, okay, yeah, like, sure.
Yeah, what if you get like 0 triggers? But what you're saying is like you'll only be digging 1 deeper with each revelation unit? Not necessarily.
I'm saying you can't stack triggers like 3 down.
Oh,
you can put 1 on top.
Yeah, but that's how they balance it. You're only ever going to get 1 trigger.
But if I'm going to have an abusable effect like this, why can't I abuse it to do what I want to win the game?
Because that's not fair. If I get like Fortune Teller plus 500...
Globe Magus was that good.
But Maguses are garbage! So next, another Sentinel, Reversal Star Vader, Nobelium.
Hello.
Finally getting new Star Vaders.
Nice.
Quintet Wall, Counterblast 1, top 5 from the deck, Quintet Wall. At the end of that battle, if the attack did not hit, your opponent chooses 1 of his or her rear guards and locks it.
Thank you, Special Quintet Walls, for making a comeback.
Still don't know if it'll see play, but it's cool.
I mean, it's pretty neat. I mean, Quintet Walls have traditionally been a 1-of, unless their skills were super good.
But you want to talk about not seeing play? Let's talk about some Brave cards!
Oh, yeah! Brave cards!
Spoiled 1 hour before the filming of this video.
Turn up, boys.
Human, Knight of Flight Danis. Continuous, during your turn, this unit gets power plus 1k for each of your other units with the Brave ability. This is interesting. Because if you're running the good Outmouse starter, you're going to at least have 1 dude. Which makes this guy a 10k. Which isn't bad.
That's okay.
I'm a fan of 10ks.
But it's only during your turn.
Right. I agree, but it just helps you make it lines.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Alright.
That's all I'm saying.
If you can get more, that would be better. And
you can get more Brave dudes. Because all it's saying is that it gets power for the Brave abilities. The good thing is this one doesn't need to be... Brave doesn't need to be active.
That's true.
So that's nice. I'm just saying it's a nice little continuous skill.
Okay.
The other one is Guard. So, Act, Rear Guard. Once per turn, Generation Break 1, Counterblast 1. To the end of turn, this unit gets power plus 2k. And auto, at the end of your turn, choose 1 of your other Rear Guards with a Brave ability. You may return it to hand.
Why?
Meh.
Yeah.
I get it. It's like kind of anti-Kagero because you're pushing your things back. Like, oh, what are you gonna do? It's also kind of anti-Link Joker, where it's like this is like their new way. I think to counter Link Joker and Kagero is like, I'm gonna bounce my dudes back, and now what are you gonna do about it? But it's also one
Bermuda Triangle.
I can think of at least 100 different better ways to spend 1 CB than doing that.
Because you're already strapped.
Exactly. Like there is no good unflip engine in this deck. So next is Bird Escort Eagle. Generation Break 1, Brave. This unit gets shield plus 5k. This is literally a special interceptor in the Guardian Circle. Well, I guess no, because it doesn't be Brave. Like, okay.
I'm already dead.
It's got resist.
I'm already dead.
Meh.
Why couldn't Brave be like 4 cards or something? Why was it 3 in particular?
Why couldn't be Brave just not be the mechanic?
Yeah. If you have 3 or less rear guards, now that's tough.
That's all the spoilers that I kind of want to go over, I guess.
Like I said, if we missed any, we'll try and pick out a few and do a deeper analysis on them on the Facebook page for you guys.
Now let's move on to some news.
Foil crit triggers.
Let's go in order here. Well, yeah, let's go and go full coach triggers.
It's the coolest thing that happened.
So the heal trigger campaign happened and it was cool, but now they're doing the critical campaign, which is cool.
Also Japanese and not for us.
We're never gonna get those foil heals.
Nope.
Doesn't stop people from wanting them though.
Hey, you're right.
But they're gonna do it for the crits. All your favorite crits are there. Both
the Steel Dragon crit for Kagero.
Both.
Just give me Blu-ray. He was first.
Both Epinas are there. I really would have liked Alabasta Owl because he never sees play anymore. No one runs that crit anymore. I remember that crit was actually hard to find.
Blu-ray.
I loved Alabasta Owl.
Everybody bought them to play MLB.
It's because Alabasta Owl was hype.
Alabasta Owl.
Alabasta Owl.
Why would you pick the Seal Dragon one? Oh, give me anything else. No, except Tar. Tar is already kind of cool.
I'm just saying, man. Next, let's cover really quick the U.S. schedule of releases.
Yes.
So, Cardfight Vanguard Next, which is the next series in Cardfight Vanguard, will start in October. So, Booster Set 8.
How creative Bushiroad.
Absolute Justice will be in October. Trial Deck and Comic Booster for Gear Chronicle will be in... Clan Booster for Gear Chronicle will be in November.
Thanks, Demi.
Trial Deck for Shadow Paladins and Booster Set 9 will be in December. Set 9 will contain Shadow Paladins, Gear Chronicle, Angel Feather, Narukami, Spike Bros, and Aqua Force.
So we'll finally get the Shadow Paladin keyword, which probably means more support for Claret Sword.
Yeah, I would have to.
Yeah.
They'll probably throw Revengers 1 or 2 cards.
Absolutely.
Maybe the same thing for Diablo. They'll probably throw Ada 1 or 2 cards, but they'll run the support.
I mean, even Diablo's still, something good to support.
We technically still need a Stride evolution
of Claret.
Because he never got one. It was Urgeyser and then Urgeyser's daddy. Doomed. Oh, Dr. Doom. Someone should really make an image of Urgeyser Doomed with the Dr. Doom cloak.
Leave it to Mr. Fishman.
And it just seems like the Idol Booster and Token Rambu will be next year. Which is fine.
So let me take a look at this because they didn't announce... Oh, for whatever reason, they didn't tell us what they would be releasing in January, February, and March. And we actually got a couple of questions about that.
Yeah, they'll probably release that closer to December.
Token Rambu.
They'll probably do that and probably release the announcement of Legend Deck. Legend Deck 3, which we hope will be Aichi.
Which everyone thinks it'll be Aichi, but it has an equal chance of being something super crappy.
Swerve Naoki.
No! I would be okay with Kamui too.
I would not be okay with Kamui because they give his subclan so much support via sets Extreme Battlers because he's a main character in the series. He's an important side character in the series.
Okay.
He gets a decent amount of support because he's in the show so much. Whereas Aichi has not been in the show at all, but 2 episodes, and one was a cameo. Well, there's been 3, and 2 of which were cameos, and the other one was I'm Blaster Blade now. Get out of here, kid. Can I see what you do, please?
Come on. Yeah, probably gonna be Aichi.
I know you were in Harvard, but darn, man.
He's the optimal choice, I think.
For y'all of you who didn't know, starting this Friday, Refros is at 1.
Also, yes.
In the U.S. That news dropped on us while we were in Philly, and I did.
The angel prices went. Oh, and then they didn't. Because
it made playing in Nats feel that much more bittersweet for the angel players.
Yeah, couldn't have done this earlier, Bougie.
It was rougher for me because I'm like, man, I want this card gone, and then it was rough for them. It was like, man, I'll never get to play this card as many times again. I'm like, yeah, but no, I'm glad. Are you glad?
I think it's fair.
It is. I will say this: if you watched our streams in the past, I didn't think Refros needed a ban. I was sorely wrong. It did. That card is stupid.
Well, it's a bad matchup for you, so
not just that, but it's a broken card. Getting Refros 5 times will teach you a lesson real quick about that card.
Why do you have to draw so many cards, man? Please stop.
I can't do anything. I'm not Nubatama. I'm not like anyone. There's no clan that does that. Also, continuing with the Japanese crit campaign, or like the trigger campaign, to let you know what special products you will probably be purchasing from some Singaporean guy selling it in your Facebook group. The Murakumo heal. I think that's the Murakumo heal. The Murakumo heal.
Right. No, that's Nubatama.
Is it?
Murakumo's the shadowy one.
The Nubatama heal is getting a sleeve and a deck box. A nice. By the way, good on you, Bushiroad, for giving us the vertical deck boxes that open that way
actually
and can fit everything.
Yes,
probably in a double sleeve because everyone in Japan double sleeves their character sleeves. Also, Beast Deity Catastrophe that GR. Oddly enough, also getting. I don't know how they make these decisions.
I think it's fan voted.
Also getting sleeves and a deck box.
But no one votes, so just that one guy who wants it.
And last but not least, for some odd reason, Madhu...
Rain Element Madhu.
is also getting sleeves in a deck box.
Why?
Okay. And that's pretty much it from the news perspective, which leads us into the topic of the day.
ARG Past and Future. So basically, without touching too much on a recap of how the event went, we want to talk about ARG's policy changes going forward and how we were affected by them at this event.
Yeah.
So, in case you don't know, ARG tournaments are moving away from a point system, buy system, and nationals, and moving on to two...
Let's go back to that for a second, but we actually do have fans from other countries and stuff, so really quick.
Okay. So, ARG is Alter Reality Games is a shop. It's not really a franchise yet. There's only one main store, but there are several large stores that run their own tournaments. So Star City Games is a huge one. In fact, they run so much stuff. ARG is the Star City Games for every other card game, basically.
It's really the only thing that keeps the real
Cardfight and DBZ.
Pokemon now as well.
And Pokemon. So
I think they're like 1 year away from launching a Vice Schwartz league because they sell Vice Schwartz cards.
Anyway, so they hold their own nationals, and everything is 2 out of 3. So players tend to like them,
even when it's not supposed to.
And you can just walk up and talk to their own instead of the shadow government of Bushiroad from Japan, kind of just like dropping breadcrumbs to Bushiroad America. So they're really approachable guys. They're super cool. They like to stream their stuff. Their organization is usually pretty good. But they wanted to move away from a system where you go to an ARG event in your state or in your region. You go, you play. If you top 8 or win, you get points and sometimes invites to the national tournament. And then everybody goes out to Nats. And you can use points to buy in or buy buys. So free wins in the first 2 rounds.
Right.
And then you play it out. So that's the event that we went to, was that nationals from playing an ARG event, so you're getting points and going. So they're moving away from that, and they're going to 2 invitationals. One in Orlando and another in Philly. And you can go to either if you get an invite, and then you can still get invites via topping at states or regionals. Stuff like that.
Correct. Yes. It's a good time.
But they also tried out some stuff at Nats that we hadn't seen before from them, and wanted to comment on it a little bit. First of all, Nats was very well run. We'll get into more detail on how it was run and what we did and what we experienced there in a recap video soon. But we entered in the 3v3 tournament, which had some rules that we weren't totally like on the same page about.
On paper, it's what you always wanted, but then once you get into it, you're like, no. Mm-hmm. Because like you ran into a problem like that you were just like, I never considered this would be this big of an issue, and then it was. Mm-hmm. And that's what the problem was. I
think it's mostly the meta to blame, but still.
I blame partially I blame the meta, but also I blame like the no draw thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so ARG's 3v3 tournament, so basically they can't call it Team League or Team Tournament, those are Bushi's things, so it's called a 3v3.
Patent pending.
Yes. You go in with 3 decks. They do not all have to be different clans.
Which is a mistake.
Which was a mistake in our eyes.
In our opinions.
In our opinions, that was a mistake.
But we had fun.
We did have fun, but we ran into Triple Angel Feather, or we saw people playing like Triple Angel Feather.
Double Angel Feather.
Okay, it was double. I'm sorry, it was Double Angel Feather and 1 Gear Chronicle. Boo hoo.
What a good meta.
But they just walked in with like this, and we're like, you can do that. It says you don't. It doesn't say all like different. And like that's the only reason to ever have a team tournament is so you have to run 3 different decks.
Right, I agree.
Okay, most people did run 3 different decks, so it didn't matter too much. There were 40-minute rounds, which in this meta is too short for 2 out of 3. Every round went to time, every single one.
Yeah.
And while the team record was considered for the overall match, each player played 2 out of 3.
And that I think is not a good idea.
But ARG doesn't allow drawing in Vanguard.
So it's a problem.
You can't have draws. You have to play like this weird 6-turn sudden death game at the end if you have to start game 3 in time, which so many games started in time.
Basically, what we learned from that experience was that like there's no good way to do a sudden death Vanguard situation.
No.
And maybe Bushiroad was onto something when they said screw it, we'll just do a double loss because there's just
why not just allow draws?
Because it's the national finals. Like
you can't draw like in the top 8.
Well, exactly, but like, imagine how many IDs there would have been going into the top 8. Granted, I understand the software could have handled that, but it's such a strain, and you have just as many people complaining about bubbling out. Because like, oh, but I had the same IDs, da, da, da. Like, breaking down things to opponent win percentage, it gets just shady.
Well, but that always happens.
I agree, it does. But like, you're used to it when you're X1, but you're not used to it when you're, 3, like 2, 2-0, and 4. Like, you know what I mean?
Ah, yeah, that's super weird.
So
it's not my fault. We just drew every time. I couldn't get the points necessary.
That's what I'm saying. So it's just like, I blame the meta.
I blame the game not being fair to players getting the same number of turns.
Exactly, and then I guess at the end of the day,
you did your best.
I blame really just. I think it should be just the best of 1.
At least in teams.
At least in teams.
Bushiroad at least has that format down.
In teams.
Although 20 minutes for a game probably isn't enough anymore.
But I think they increased to 25.
Yeah, I mean they did. I don't think that's enough either. I think it needs to be 30. With the amount of Angel and Bermuda and Link Joker games.
Yeah, I'm totally prepared to call slow play on people.
So long. Oh yeah, you should absolutely call slow play now. People are taking too long. Like, granted, they're like advancing the game state, but if they're like, oh, I need to kill my Refroses 15 times, then no, that's slow play, friend. Like, it's Vanguard. This is one of the least difficult of the card games.
As far as like numbers wise, thinking and guarding, and no, it's not that tough. But that's our recap video.
Yeah, that's all. No, we're going to talk about our tournament experience, what we saw, and all that in the recap video. We're just debating like ARG policies here.
I don't know. I guess I won't have any definitive answer until I experience the new policy. Like actually go to an invitational or whatnot.
Which you probably will at some point.
Which I will at some point. And I guess for further announcements while we're talking about ARG, we will be going to Atlanta in a few weeks. For the Bushiroad World Championship qualifier.
Best of 1.
We hope that those of you who are heading to Atlanta will come say hi to us and come see us. That being said, after that one, we're not going to Rhode Island, we're not going to New York, we're not going anywhere Vanguard related, minus maybe Charlotte. But like even then, we're going to need to take a break, recoup our finances, get our lives together.
Surprise! Running a famous YouTube channel is expensive.
It would just relax, enjoy my apartment because I have missed it. You can ask Ryan. I rarely spend weekends here this summer because I've been going everywhere and back. So it's rough, but it's been fun. Let's answer some questions and call it a day.
All right. So our first question comes from Navataru off of YouTube, one of our on the road videos. Hashtag AskAbsolution. Is it better at this point in time in Vanguard? So a higher priced meta, a higher priced game at this point, to own one main deck fully up to date, or a few decks that are mostly ready to compete? The main question is money, where to invest, and how to keep the game fun for myself while I'm trying to do this. In particular, I play Aquaforce, and the support is so few and far between that it's been 8 months before I get to see any changes in my main deck.
Yeah, I would say from an economics perspective, I would pick two completely opposite clans. Like one that needs very little maintenance, but will be pretty competitive overall.
Shadow's always a good choice.
Shadow's a good choice. Like for me, like Royals doesn't need that much maintenance because there's usually just staple cards that you use across the build.
Also, we own everything Royal related.
Like the blaster engine. The blaster engine's universal. Like you can put that in anything. Sankard, Atmile, Alfred. You can put it in everything. So Royals are a solid pick for that reason. Shadows are a solid pick for a similar reason. Gears because it's always going to get support because the main character's clan. So that's not going anywhere.
But money.
Outside of that, like for me, like the two clans I primarily would like to invest in. Granted, we have a team, so we invest in a lot of clans. But for me, Kagura also another one that gets, well, recent history excluded, gets a lot of support. I play Royals and I play Link Joker because they're opposites. One of those two is going to be in the meta at one point or the other, or else the other one would be. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, if Royals aren't in the meta, it's probably because Link Joker is doing something. And if Link Joker's not in the meta, it's probably because some other clan is pushing it out, which brings Royals to the forefront. Mm-hmm. As far as to answer your question, I guess in between. Not going to say have a lot. Not going to say have one. Have like two. Two that like you can maintain pretty simply. What do you think?
I more or less agree with that. The two opposite clans, I feel like, especially your approach, is really intelligent. Because like you said, one's going to be in the meta. Even if neither of them have support, I mean, CBD is still popping up. It hasn't gotten support. Well, I guess it got support in GBT05, but still, it was still pretty alright.
Yeah.
You can still play it. You can still play Link Joker. It was okay. But then Royals has just been running the meta for 2 years, so I don't really know what you want.
Yeah, and then I think that if you do only have enough money to invest in one, I would say Gear Chronicle, because it's not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. It's the main character's clan. There's no better investment.
Terribly many of the cards are expensive.
Just the ones that are.
Next stage is at its lowest value in pretty much a year, so now would be the time.
Yeah, like I said, I would definitely go in with that. But I mean, if that's not your style, Granblue's gonna get some support. Bushwood has gotten better and given as long as you're not picking Aquaforce or Nubatama
and you've just been unlucky and then your plans are constantly crapped on.
See what I'm saying? As long as you're not picking the ones that really get support far and few in between, you should be fine. Mm-hmm. Next question. Let's take one from our Facebook page. Remember, if you want to appear on this Ask Absolution segment, all you have to do is post up on our Facebook page, send us a message. Be sure to like our Facebook page and turn on notifications so we can hear from you guys. So, let's do this. What is this question asking? What a question. What a time.
This man's taking too long for me.
Sometimes if you're wondering why we don't answer your question, that's because we didn't understand your question.
Yeah. Okay, now I understand what he's saying. Hashtag AskAbsolution. What do you feel about certain decks becoming more relevant or less relevant due to the cards, decks that appear frequently or have begun to appear. You can tell I got confused. Also, what decks do you feel have been on the two sides of this or will be for when the new tech booster comes around? So, basically, what he's asking is...
We think.
How do we feel about how metagames work in cards?
I'm actually thinking Bushiroad's reached a decent-sized... Angel Feather excluding, I think they've reached a decent balance. I think you can play a lot of different decks and still be somewhat competitive. Now, granted, there will always be the best decks. There will always be Angel Feathers. I'm saying Angel placeholder as the best deck, or Grand Blue, or Gear Chronicle, or those are the three probably top decks. Speaking of the meta right now, maybe Friday there's a slight shake-up with Grand Blue and Gear Chronicle being slightly better than Angels, but Angels still being there. But after that, it becomes relatively close, and some of those decks can compete with the others. Just look at the top 8. Even the top 8 was pretty diversified in my opinion. It was the top 8 ARG, we'll talk about that later, but it was 2 Gear Chronicle...
You're thinking top 16.
Top 16, yeah. 3 Gear Chronicle, 2 Kagura, 2 Royals...
2 Angels.
2 Angels.
3 Grand Blue.
3 Grand Blue.
No, it's 3 Kagura.
3 Kagura.
2 Grand Blue.
2 Grand Blue.
2 Link Joker.
2 Link Joker.
1 Bermuda.
1 Bermuda.
1 Ripples.
1 Ripples. You see what I'm saying? It's a decent balance. And I like it. I support it. What do you think, Ryan? I'm
definitely all about that. The question was more or less asking, how do we feel about how decks, go in and out of the meta as... new cards come out or the meta changes. So, it's a weird question he asked because he described what a metagame is, and I'm trying to explain what is metagame? I'm trying to answer a Jeopardy question here, but he has to be a question. You understand? Yeah. Of course, that's just how a metagame works. How we feel about it is kind of irrelevant because that's just how it works. If, Kaguro gets a bunch of support that allows me to kill rearguards on my opponent's turn, and that's super good right now, Kaguro is going to become more relevant. That's just the way it is, because people will figure it out and then jump on that deck. That's why Sanctuary Guard was so huge, because nothing was fast enough to compete with it. People realized that, oh my god, this deck is super relevant right now because the game is really slow and this deck is not. Yeah, this isn't I don't want to compare it to anything else, but this isn't... The thing about card games is they're not other type of games. There's no way I can get more out of a certain card other than what's printed on the text. See what I'm saying? This isn't a video game where I could be really, really good at playing this character, irregardless of its place in the meta. You know what I'm saying? In certain games, you'll run across that occasional player that's I'm the best with X character, whether or not he's tier 1, 2, or 3, because I can get the best. I'm just that good with this character. See what I'm saying? Whereas card games don't work like that, because I build my deck, sure, but if I'm using the best cards and the best strategy, whether or not you are, our skill does obviously play a part, but we can't get more out of a card than what's printed on it. Is basically what I'm saying. I think that's answering his question. How do I feel about a metagame? Obviously there's going to be a metagame. There's going to be cards that come to the surface as being better than other cards. And that's because, I can't push more out of a card than what's written on it. But you can in certain situations. I agree, but those require other cards. I'm saying, for example, the Bean on Engine versus the Blaster Engine. I can't make the Bean on Engine do what the Blaster Engine does. Right. I just can't. There's nothing I can do to force more out of those sets of cards to make it more than that other sets of cards. So obviously the Blaster Engine gains prevalence and develops a meta around that. Whereas in video games, for example, there could be some kind of way where you train yourselves and you just become that good with that set of... See what I'm saying? I'm not really sure how... You're talking about why do cards become more relevant? Well, that's more or less what I'm trying to say, and you're saying cards become more relevant because some cards are better than others, and you're right. But say some ridiculous Royal Paladin card comes out that says Counterblast 3 and, deal 2 damage to your opponent. Well, now you have to play that card. Let's say you don't have the Counterblast to use the Blaster, but you want something else, so you have to go back to Benon. Like, the tide will change, and cards will become better or worse, not because of what's printed on the card, but because of how it interacts with other cards. And that's what really matters.
Right.
So at this point, I think we've kind of got off track.
I guess. It's a tough question to answer, I guess. I mean, I'm still kind of confused on what the question is. But...
how does metagame work?
Metagame works on, obviously, what the card does itself is important, because even if a card came out like that and the Blaster Engine was still better, then I'd still run the Blaster Engine.
You're right. But he was also talking about decks, not necessarily cards.
Well, I mean, decks are only as good as its engine, and my standard still plays. Like, if you can only push so much out of an engine as the cards that are in it.
I still don't know why you're going back to this.
Because I think that it's important to say. Because, like, there are people out there who think that, like, to a certain level, they can pull out random strategies and they can put them in the deck, and with their skill alone, they can make it work. And card games don't necessarily work like that.
I can agree with that.
A deck's only as good as an engine. And you may be able to pilot your engine great, but if someone else, you have to compete with the fact that, yes, you were piloting your engine great, but I'm willing to bet that if you built the same engine I'm using and you learned to pilot that great, you'd be a better player. That's what I'm saying.
I think I'm getting the missing link here. You're saying that it's not so much that people define a metagame more than cards do.
I think they both, alright, let's start from the basics here. Okay, so a metagame is defined by the best cards in the best decks in the game. That defines a metagame. So what defines the best decks? Well, the best decks have the best decks have the best engines. What are the
favorable matchups against other engines?
Fair enough. I can see both of that. The best decks have the best matchups with what's not popular, but what's best at the time. But first you have good engines, good synergy, so on and so forth. What makes a good deck? Well, good synergy, good engines, good combos. But all I am saying is, the gist of my point is, because his question was, why do certain cards reach prevalence? It's just because they are good. Like, why do certain decks reach prevalence? Because they're good. I think his question is getting to, like... Can I read it for a second?
Go for it.
Okay.
What he's saying is, what do we think or how do we feel about, some decks becoming more prevalent because of the support that comes out? So, for example, Vanguard lost prevalence because we had Seabreeze and the ability to kill everything with Defeat Flare. So how do we feel about that? Well, that's just card games. That's just how meta works.
I guess... What do you feel about certain decks becoming... that's just how... I guess the answer is just how...
That's why I'm confused. Because you just describe what a metagame is, and it's not something that we feel, it's something that we just understand and accept.
It's something you sign up when you play card games.
It's, how do I feel about the sky being blue? It's, the sky is blue. That's how it is.
It's mostly economical, too. Like, card game companies have to make money. The only way they're going to make money is to make more cards that make other cards less or more relevant. That's just the only way card games can sustain themselves. If there was like a golden deck that would like always stay relevant and never ever die,
then it would be a one deck.
It would be Sanctuary Guard. Get out of here. All right. Well, I think we've done it. Close us out there, top 8 man.
All right. This has been Doombringer Griffin and the Cap signing off.
Peace.